Imagine an ancient human, a caveman 10,000 years ago. No shower, no soap, no deodorant, not once in his entire life. So he must have reeked, right? A walking cloud of stink. You are probably wrong. And the truth is so strange, it flips everything you assume about being clean. Because that ancient human may have smelled better than the stranger sitting next to you on the bus tomorrow. Faintly of wood smoke, rivers, and skin. Nothing more. We tell ourselves a comforting story, that hygiene is a modern invention. That before us, humans were filthy, rotting, and foul. It is mostly a myth, a story we invented to feel superior to the past. The reality is the opposite. Our ancestors were far cleaner than you think, and by one strange measure, we might be the smelly ones. To understand why, you have to throw out the first thing you believe about body odor. Sweat does not stink. Read that again. Fresh sweat, straight from your pores, is almost completely odorless. It is basically salt and water. So where does the smell actually come from? Not from you, from something living on you. And not from everywhere either. Most of your body sweats a thin, watery sweat that never smells at all. The trouble comes from two places: your armpits and your groin. They hold a special kind of gland that pumps out a thicker, richer sweat. And there is a reason hair grows in exactly those spots. That hair traps the scent and holds it close to the skin. In other words, your body was literally designed to broadcast its own smell. That richer sweat is a feast, and your skin is crawling with billions of hungry diners. Your skin is a jungle. It is covered in billions of bacteria, feeding, breeding, and surviving on your body right now. When you sweat, certain bacteria in your armpits pounce. They break the sweat down, and the waste they leave behind is the sour, pungent smell we call body odor. So the real question was never how often ancient humans washed. It is what was living on their skin and what they were feeding it. And this is where it gets fascinating. Because the single biggest control on how you smell is not soap. It is your diet. Picture two men, side by side. One runs on heavy red meat, refined sugar, and processed junk. The other on clean, wild food. Now lean in and smell them both. The first one hits you like a wall. Sharp, sour, almost chemical. The stink that fills a packed elevator. The second is barely there. Faint, warm, almost nothing at all. Scientists ran this exact test. The men who dropped the red meat were rated as smelling far more pleasant. Same men, different fuel. You are not born smelling bad. You are fed into it. Now look at what an ancient hunter-gatherer actually ate. Wild plants, lean meat, roots, berries, and seeds. No factory sugar, no processed oil, no soda, no alcohol pickling their system from the inside. The fuel for those stink-producing bacteria simply was not there. Starve the bacteria, and you starve the smell. So the modern assumption flips on its head. Their natural body odor was likely far milder than ours. Cleaner, in a way no shower can fake. There may be a deeper reason, too. They were not blasting their skin with harsh soap every single day. The bacteria on their bodies stayed in a natural, settled balance. Not stripped bare every morning, only to grow back angry and out of control. But here is the part that truly breaks your brain. Even if they did have a scent, nobody around them thought it was bad. Your nose has a hidden superpower. It goes blind to any smell it is exposed to constantly. Walk into a bakery and the smell fades in minutes. The same thing happened across all of human history. Everyone carried the same natural human scent. So to them, it was not a smell at all. It was just the background of being alive. Bad body odor is partly a modern invention. We only find it disgusting because we scrubbed it away and forgot it ever existed. In fact, your natural scent was never meant to be an enemy. For most of history, it was a signal. It told others your health, your identity, even who you were related to. We did not evolve to smell like nothing. We evolved to smell like ourselves. So if their diet kept them mild, what did they actually do to stay clean? The answer is stranger than you would guess. But first, hit subscribe right away. Because what these people did next sounds made up. Here is the truth nobody tells you. Ancient humans were obsessed with being clean. They did not have showers, so they used the entire planet as one. Rivers, lakes, streams, natural hot springs. For most of human history, water was the bath. People washed far more often than the dirty caveman myth admits. Some cultures went even further. They built sweat lodges and steam rooms, sealing themselves in heat until the body poured out sweat and grime. It was cleaning and ritual fused into one. Long before plumbing, humans had already figured out the deep clean. But the ancient world went so much further than a quick dip. And the methods are pure genius. Take the Romans. For them, bathing was not a chore. It was the heart of daily life. They built enormous public bathhouses, some big enough for thousands of people. Hot rooms, warm rooms, and cold plunge pools, all in a row. A Roman might spend hours there every single day, cleaning, soaking, and socializing all at once. But they had a problem. Soap was not really their thing yet. So how do you scrape off a day of sweat and grime without it? Their answer was brilliant. They coated their whole body in olive oil. The oil loosened every bit of dirt, sweat, and dead skin. Then they took a curved metal tool called a strigil, and they scraped it all off in one clean sweep. Oil, grime, and stink peeled away in seconds. And here is the part that will turn your stomach. The scraped-off gunk from famous athletes and gladiators was collected. Then it was sold in little jars as a beauty cream and a medicine. People paid good money for a champion's sweat. Ancient celebrity skincare made of pure filth. And before you think soap was beyond ancient minds, think again. People were making soap over 4,000 years ago. The Babylonians mixed animal fat with ashes and boiled it into a real cleaning paste. That is genuine soap, made in the Bronze Age. The chemistry has not changed in thousands of years. Fat plus ash still equals soap. We did not invent it. We just put it in a fancy bottle and slapped a price on it. Now travel to ancient Egypt, the kingdom of clean. They were almost fanatical about it. They scrubbed with a natural salt called natron, the same mineral they used to preserve mummies. It cleaned the skin and killed bacteria at the same time. They invented some of the first toothpaste on Earth, a gritty powder of crushed shells, herbs, and ash, to scrub their teeth shining white. And they were not alone. All across the ancient world, people cleaned their teeth with simple chewing sticks. You frayed the end of a twig from certain trees into soft bristles. Then you scrubbed. A natural toothbrush with built-in antibacterial sap. People still use them today. And they were the original kings of perfume. They draped themselves in scented oils, frankincense, and myrrh. They burned incense to perfume the air in their homes. They tucked fragrant herbs into their clothing and bedding. Smelling good was not vanity to them. It was a sign of status, wealth, and respect for the gods. At their grandest parties, the rich wore cones of perfumed fat balanced on top of their heads. As the night went on, body heat slowly melted the cone. It dripped fragrance down their hair, their shoulders, their skin. A slow-release perfume, thousands of years before the spray bottle. They were not just clean, they were elegant about it, and where there was no oil or soap, people improvised brilliantly. They scrubbed their skin with ash, sand, and fine clay. It sounds primitive. It was anything but. Clay pulls oil and grime straight out of the skin, and some types kill bacteria on contact. People were doing a deep clean with literal dirt. But if you want the single most disgusting hygiene secret in all of history, the Romans win again. And you will never, ever forget this one. Brace yourself for this one. They whitened their teeth with urine, aged, stale, collected human urine. It sounds insane, but there is a logic to it. Old urine breaks down into ammonia, a powerful natural cleaner. They literally used it as a mouthwash to get a brighter smile. They even collected it in pots on street corners and used it to clean their clothes. One man's waste was another man's laundry detergent. So no, the ancients were not helpless animals drowning in their own filth. They scraped, they scrubbed, they soaked, steamed, and perfumed, using everything nature handed them. They had thousands of years to solve this problem, and they were a lot smarter about it than we give them credit for. Which leads to the twist that changes the whole story. The filthiest humans who ever lived did not wear animal skins. They wore crowns, they lived in palaces, and they reeked of perfumes. This was Europe, a few centuries ago, in the shadow of the Great Plagues. And the people there became convinced of something deadly. Water itself could kill you. Doctors of the time spread a terrifying idea. They believed a hot bath opened the pores like little doors, and that deadly plague could pour straight through them into the blood. So people did the unthinkable. They stopped bathing on purpose. They thought dirt and a layer of grime might actually shield them from disease. For years at a time, some people barely touched water at all. Even kings and queens. Stories tell of a queen who proudly bathed only twice in her entire life. The wealthier you were, the more perfume you drowned yourself in to cover it. They masked the stench with heavy scent and fresh linen shirts. The shirt, not the body, was what got changed and cleaned. That was the real golden age of human stink. Not the prehistoric hunter, fresh from a river on a clean diet, but the perfumed noble, terrified of his own bathtub. And it leaves us with one deeply uncomfortable question about ourselves. Are we actually cleaner than the ancients? Or have we just gotten very, very good at hiding? Every day, we strip our skin with harsh soaps and scalding showers. We wipe out the natural bacteria, the good and the bad together. Then we spray on chemicals to physically plug our sweat glands. And we layer on a manufactured smell that was never ours to begin with. We are not erasing odor. We are burying it under a chemical disguise. And we have gone noseblind to that disguise, the same way the ancients went noseblind to themselves. We just cannot smell our own artificial cloud anymore. Strip all of it away for a single week. No soap, no spray. And many of us would smell far worse than our ancestors ever did. The ancient human, fresh from a cold river, living on whole wild food, may have carried a scent that was faint, natural, and barely there. Meanwhile, we hide. We mask. We pretend the smell of being human is something shameful to delete. Maybe being clean was never about smelling like a chemical flower. Maybe it was about the river, the diet, and the balance we have forgotten. So did ancient humans actually smell bad? Far less than the story in your head ever told you. They were not filthy savages waiting for soap to rescue them. They were clever, careful, and cleaner than we will ever give them credit for.